What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Rebel Rave. I'm Rob.
I'm Dave, and today we're here to review the Black Series Rey Skywalker X-Wing helmet, debuted exclusively in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. This is Rey's helmet and nobody else's.
This is Rey's
helmet. Just kidding, no, okay. So our last video where we reviewed this lightsaber, some of y'all got a little testy that we called it Rey's.
No, Anakin, no!
But that's what Disney calls it on the boxes right now.
Sorry, they call it Rey Saber. Take it up with Bob Iger.
So yes, this is the Skywalker saber, was Anakin's, Luke's, Rey's, etc. But you guys did seem to like the lightsaber review, so today we're doing another saber review.
That's right, we are going to be reviewing the Kylo Ren lightsabers you can get at a bunch of different places. We have the Galaxy's Edge Legacy Saber, we have the original Black Series Kylo Ren lightsaber, and then we have the newest one, the Black Series Elite. This one's expensive.
It is.
We're gonna talk about why.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
All right, Rob, why don't you walk us through the original Black Series Force Effects Kylo Ren lightsaber?
All right, guys, here it is. This is the original Black Series lightsaber from Hasbro. This one came out in 2015. I was really excited when this thing came out because it was finally like a different lightsaber than what we're used to. It's very, very heavy. Actually, they're all heavy, I will say that. But this one, when it first came out, retailed for $199, I believe. It's about 200 bucks. Nowadays, honestly, if you're smart about it, you can probably get one for under 100 bucks if you're smart about it. So don't get like ripped off on like Craigslist or something, okay? There's really not much to say about it. It's a pretty solid saber. It doesn't have any removable blades or anything like that. It's a solid piece. And it's, I mean, brightness, it's just okay. We'll talk about that later on in the video. But that's the Black Series Kylo Ren.
One thing I do want to mention about this saber is I remember before Force Awakens came out, and on Force Friday, these sabers started getting into collectors' hands. And that was the first listen we got to Kylo's saber sound. It's like a snarling animal, and it just made me super pumped for that movie.
Yeah, this is a great saber, and mine even has a little bit of wear and stuff like that from my kids and I getting into like lightsaber fights and stuff like that, which I'm okay with that. I'm okay with lightsabers getting some wear on them. So that's the Black Series, the original OG Black Series saber. Dave, which one are we going with next?
Cool, let's talk about the next one that came out, which was the Galaxy's Edge Legacy lightsaber. So that's the one we've got here, available exclusively at Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. This saber was based on the Disney Parks exclusive saber that came out before it. It's a little different. This saber's got the sort of matte black Last Jedi style finish. Comes with some blade plugs. They just pop right out. There's one for the main blade and the two crossguard blades. It comes with a belt clip, so you can actually wear it on your belt. And it comes with a really cool display box. Here's the display box that it comes in. This is the only packaging it comes in.
It's a big one.
Red First Order logo right there. Underneath here is where the crossguard blades and the belt clip are stored. So great saber activations right here. Slide this up and down. I think on the original Force Effects, it's this piece up here, correct?
Yeah, on the original, it's at the very, very top. It's honestly a little bit of an awkward spot. So right at the top, I think it's more comfortable to have it here because if you have it right at the top, you have to have your hand almost at the very top of the saber. So not very safe for the fingers.
So yeah, weathering detail on this is great. I really like it. Even the paint on this internal detail here is nice. And what we're gonna do later is, again, we're gonna put blades in all of these and turn off the light so you guys can see what the blades look like compared.
All right, the final one is the one that just released. This is the Black Series Elite, I believe it's called. Black Series Elite Force FX lightsaber. This one is Hasbro's first lightsaber that they release with removable blades, or Black Series, ooh, almost dropped it. Black Series saber with removable blades. So this one is really, really cool. I will say I do like it. It's got some really, really cool features that we're gonna get more into detail. But you know, just by looking at it, the color is the first thing that you'll probably notice is a little different. It's more of a, I would say like a light gray slash
kind of gunmetal-ish.
Gunmetal. And the original Black Series one is more of like a brownish black. All three of these are a little bit of a different finish and different color. I'll tell you at the end which one I think is my favorite with color, when it comes to color. But this does feel great in your hand. They actually slimmed it down a little bit. It's a little bit less thick than the original Black Series one, which is great. It feels great in your hands. It's got a couple features. If you look closely, when you don't have the blades inside, it has some little kyber crystals showing there, which I believe it's supposed to be a cracked crystal, which is what causes the unbalanced blade, which is really cool. But apart from that, I mean, it's got the wear, it's got the same details as the other ones here on the bottom of the like the pummel. It's got the wire that you can kind of wiggle around a little bit, and it's got just some other little details we're going to talk about coming up.
In terms of accessories, this one comes with a little bit of a wall stand, and here, let me grab it.
Yep.
Now the Force FX Elite does come with a nice stand. It's got a cool design with some Imperial or First Order-esque pill shapes on it. It's got these rubber pieces to hold the saber and to lean the belt clip on. It also has this First Order logo coin, and it's to be used to tighten and loosen the blade plugs.
And I will say, in our last video we talked about the plastic stands that come with the Disney exclusive sabers. This vertical stand is solid. This is metal. So this is, as far as vertical stands, this might be the nicest one I've seen.
So let's take a look at them up close, compare the aesthetics, and then after that we'll compare the blades.
Okay.
So looking at the original Force FX lightsaber, this finish matches more of what it's like in The Force Awakens and The Rise of Skywalker, where it's kind of looking more like black metal, it's got a bit more weathering on it, versus the Legacy looks a little bit more like the Last Jedi version of the saber, where it's more of a matte black, and it's got like silver weathering marks. And the Force FX Elite is kind of somewhere in the middle. It's got that matte finish.
Yeah.
It doesn't have as much weathering on it. The weathering it does have,
it feels very randomly placed.
it just kind of looks like someone took a gold paintbrush and smudged on it.
Yeah.
As opposed to the original, you know, this looks like burn marks or like it got hit. And the Legacy, you know, this does look like it got scratched up in battle. So the weathering on the Elite is probably a weak point for it.
Okay, if you're going to choose best weathering job on one of these three, which one do you choose?
I mean, weathering goes into the aesthetics overall, and I mean, I think the Legacy wins on aesthetics overall. The proportions of the main section of the hilt on the Elite Force FX are probably my favorite. However, the oversized top part on the Legacy matches the oversized crossguard shrouds, so that kind of works. I don't know. This one's my personal choice. This one's my personal saber.
Yeah.
I like this one the most. Also, the bottom of it is more accurate to the original prop on the Legacy saber versus the two Force FX sabers. So, and I like this bright red. I like that pops. It's a really good touch. So yeah, this would be and is my choice, because for the most part, this is just a prop on my desk.
Yeah.
I pop the blades in and play with my son every once in a while, but I like the way that this looks the best. What about you, Rob? Which one are you thinking?
I am thinking the exact same thing, Dave. What really kind of made the decision for me was, well, it was one of the things that made the decision for me was the color. I thought the color was really accurate to the Last Jedi, the throne room scene where he picks it up off the ground. You also see it in very, very good detail in Rise of Skywalker when Ben is talking to his dad in that little memory, and he's holding the saber in his hands right before he tosses it. So anyways, I think this one's the most accurate to that. I agree. If you notice what Dave said, the cross guards here are a little bit bigger. He said, I think you said they're oversized, right? If you see them in comparison to the Elite, they're definitely bigger. They come out a little bit more, just a teeny bit more, which I think is more accurate. But man, this thing just feels great in your hands. I love the color, like you said. I love the red. The weathering I thought was really on point. I think with black props, little bits of silver weathering in the right spots just looks great. And I think they nailed it. You know, on the bottom of these little parts here on the pommel and all that, I think they just did a great job on this with the weathering. I also like a lot, I'm a fan of like that charred metal look that they added to the cross guards. You get it on all the sabers. I think it looks the best on the Legacy one. They did that kind of charred metal thing on the Black Series down here as well, kind of like right where your hand goes, which is cool. Maybe a little bit of weathering from holding it or something like that. They did not do that on the other ones. So I don't think weathering is bad on any of these sabers all around, but if I have to pick one, I'm gonna go with the Legacy.
Cool, now let's pop some blades in these guys and check out the lights and sound.
Alright, so we're about to do the blade test. There's a little bit of daylight outside, but it's dark enough in here that you guys should be able to see it. So let's start with the original Black Series. This is the one with no removable blade, 2015. Here it is. So this is the original. It's got a little bit of a flicker, as you can see. and it flickers on the little cross guards and on the main blade. When it is ignited, it always does main blade, cross guards, always, every time, just like that iconic moment in the first trailer for The Force Awakens when Kylo's in the forest, pulls it out. So there it is.
Let's hear some of the sounds and such.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear some of the hit sounds.
So Hasbro did something in, I don't remember what year to be honest with you, where they started including multiple swing sound fonts. So you have a slow one, and then you have a fast one. You hearing the difference? Slow. Oh, that was a fast one. There's a slow. And does a fast one. So that's pretty cool that it does that. I think the sound and the overall Kylo Ren saber growl is pretty solid on this saber. And yeah, that's the Black Series. Next we have the Elite one. Now this one has some really, really cool features on it. I will say, Dave and I, neither one of us are fans of where the ignition switch is on this because it's really clumsy. When I first saw it, I thought it was really cool because it was kind of like discreet and all that, but no, I don't like it. Now that I've just played with this thing, I don't like it at all. It's actually one of these little grip pieces, and you actually slide it down to turn it on. Oh look, I was on the wrong side. There it is right there. So you can see right from the get-go, this thing is bright. And when it ignites, it has a little bit of a, how would you call that?
Let's talk about this unstable effect. So first we have to give the Elite Saber props where it's due. This is the brightest saber of all of them, and the ignition sequence, how you almost see every single individual LED go up in sequence. It's awesome. It looks so good, so smooth. But this unstable effect, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It just, I mean, on camera, the way I'm looking at it, it almost looks like Christmas lights that are scrolling kind of through the blade, going towards the tip. However, it's nice that it has the effect in the cross guards. When we look at the Galaxy's Edge Legacy Saber later, you'll see it has no effect in the cross guards. Yeah, and like I was saying about the Switch, it's, you know, you slide it down to turn it on, you slide it up to turn it off. Just counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive, and not just, it's a very light switch. So you turn it on and swing this around a little bit, and see, I just accidentally shut it off right there. And I actually hit another button, which I'm going to talk about right now. So there's a button right on the back of it that if you hit it once, there you go. It's like a blaster deflect. That's fun, and you also see the blades lighting up white. I don't know if that's showing on camera, if it's reading on camera. Yeah. So it also has the tip drag feature where if you hold down the button, it makes the tip of the saber light up white. So it gives the effect almost like as if you're like dragging it, kind of like how Kylo did in the snow in The Force Awakens. So like Dave said, when it comes to brightness, this one wins. I like what they tried to do with the unstable effect, with the, you know, like the waves. I don't know how well it was executed. One cool thing about the saber as well is it has some sort of, I don't know if it's an accelerometer or what it is inside of it, but if you hold it straight up like this, when it ignites, it does all blades on at the same time. Just like that. If you hold it like at a 45-degree angle or lower, it actually does the effect from The Force Awakens, from the snow, you know, just the way that he does that in the trailer, like I mentioned on this one. So I think it's pretty cool that you have an option of, you know, igniting it that way or that way. But like we said, this is the brightest one. They win when it comes to that. Let's talk about sounds with the Elite one. I haven't really heard this, but let's see. We have the swinging sound. Okay, so the whole thing flashes white, it seems like. Man, I will say these buttons are very sensitive. They're cool, but like, you just barely touch them. So it flashes white. And that flash is really intense. I think the cross guards are flashing even too. Yeah.
Yeah, like half of them are, or something like that. There's not much of a swinging sound. There's a little bit of one, but they don't sound like it doesn't sound like there's two distinct ones like there was on the original Black Series one. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just not hearing it, but yeah, and I will say this this little shaking thing here is very, very sensitive. And it actually reacts rather quickly. We've noticed that with the Legacy Sabers and with the sabers ones, there's a little bit of a delay. This thing is like almost immediate, which is pretty cool. So.
Last detail before we move on to the Legacy Saber is that when you are putting these blades in and out, taking them in and out, it's sort of just a twist and lock for the side blades, but the main blade does have a retaining ring. The top of the emitter threads on and off. So you have to take this off. If you can see that in the low lighting. You have to take that off and slide it back on and thread it back on in order to secure the blade in place firmly.
Yeah. Some people are not fans of those because they're afraid of scratching the blade. I mean, I couldn't care less.
All right, last up, the Galaxy's Edge Legacy Lightsaber. So it activates with main blade first, crossguard second. Has a good clash, sort of flash on clash effect. The unstable effect on this one is more of a pulsating rather than that scrolling white. And I mean, I think I prefer that. However, there doesn't seem to be an effect on the crossguard blades. Sounds good. It only has one clash sound. Which is unfortunate. And when it activates, you see, you know, it activates in 4 big segments as opposed to almost each individual LED like the Force Effects Elite does. So the Elite really does win in terms of blade brightness and sort of the blade effects, I think. Other than the unstable effect, I prefer it here. The one nice thing is taking this in and out is you just push, twist, pull. Done. Same thing for the crossguard blades.
Like all Legacy Sabers.
Yeah, pop the blades in. And these blades, the Legacy blades, are compatible across all of the different Legacy Sabers they sell at Doc Ondar's and the Savvy's lightsabers that you build at his workshop.
Alright, so just so you guys can really quickly see them all at the same time, we have Black Series, original Black Series. Here's the Elite.
And the Galaxy's Edge Legacy.
There you go. So it's pretty apparent to us that this one, the Black Series Elite, wins in brightness.
In order of brightness, it would be Force Effects Elite, Legacy, original Force Effects.
Yeah, agreed. Alright.
Okay, recap of the 3 Kylo Ren lightsabers we've been comparing today. The Force Effects Elite, probably the strongest in terms of electronics, and it's feature rich. However, aesthetically, the hilt isn't quite as pleasing as it could be.
Yeah. The weathering is just, okay. The color is not bad, and the switch placement is horrible. Yeah. I'm just gonna say it. The features with the blades, like we said, is pretty cool. The little tip drag, it's not bad. It looks better on camera, I'd say, than it does in person, but it's not a bad thing to have. I'll take it. Little crystals inside, not bad. Overall, it's got some really nice features. Is it worth $300 though? I'm gonna say no. I would say if you want to get this saber, wait a year or two to when you can find them like on sale somewhere, because it's inevitably gonna happen.
Yes.
All right.
Like what happened to the original Force Effects, where it was originally $199, and now you can get it from like $80 to $120 online all day.
I've seen them as low as 50 bucks.
So while I think the Force Effects Elite wins in terms of, again, electronics, blades, sound, etc., I think the Galaxy's Edge Legacy wins in terms of aesthetic of the actual hilt itself. And then it also has the added bonus of the blade being a universal fit with the rest of your lightsabers that you get from Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
So again, just the finish, I like the TLJ style matte black. I like the poppin' red on the pommel over here. The fact that it has a belt clip is great. It's fun to put a lightsaber on your belt and pretend you're a Jedi or something. Yeah, and I prefer the activation switch being this guy right here, as opposed to, you know, the original Force Effects or the Elite, which is, I think, that little piece of grip.
When it comes to the ignition switch, this has got the sweet spot. It's right in it's in the right spot. So, Dave, you have to pick one saber, just like we did in the last video. One saber to have to end them all. Which one is it?
Out of these 3, it's the one I already picked. It's this one.
Yep.
So, you know, I prefer it out of all of them. I like my sabers having removable blades. I keep them on my desk on these stands, again, from Doc Ondar's. You know, the original saber, it's great that they came out with this for The Force Awakens, but it doesn't have the removable blades, doesn't have like the 3D section up top like these 2 do, and I just, again, prefer the finish on this one, and the universal blade compatibility.
Yeah.
Rob, which one would you pick?
You know, Dave, just like the last video, I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm gonna say the Legacy one takes the cake for me. Out of the ones that I own, this is the one that I own right here. It's the original one. I love it. Like I said, this is a thick hilt, which I'm not crazy about. Both of these just feel better in your hands altogether. But the color is important to me, and in that sense, this one takes the cake from color to switch placement. Again, the blade is not as bright as it is on the Elite, but hey, that's okay. Like Dave said, we like to kind of display these more than anything. So I love the weathering on it. I love that it comes with a belt clip, and this one wins it.
And again, back to value, the Force FX Elite is $300, right? Whereas this Galaxy's Edge Legacy version is $150 without a blade. An additional blade, it would be $45 or $50 depending on which size blade you get, 26 inch or 36 inch. However, if you've got a blade or two already, you don't necessarily need to buy another blade. So it all depends on what state your collection is in, what you find more important, whether it's hilt aesthetic or electronic functionality, and what you find the most value in between these two. They're still both solid sabers.
Yeah, and remember, it does come with the cross guards. It just doesn't come with the main blade.
Correct.
So you gotta buy that separately.
Quick bonus I think we should do for them.
Sure.
Rob also has the Ben Solo Legacy lightsaber.
My wife got me this for my birthday, which my birthday was the end of last year. She surprised me with this, and this thing is awesome. I will say, it feels great in your hands. This, if you don't know, is basically the training saber that Ben Solo uses. You can see how he converted it from the Ben Solo saber to the not Sith saber, but the
Kylo Ren.
His Kylo
dark
Ren
side
his
saber.
dark side saber, yeah. So this is a great saber. This saber was featured for like 4 seconds, and even that in The Last Jedi in a flashback. And man, Disney, you're so good at what you do that this was in a movie for 4 seconds in a dream, and you got $130 out of me because of it. But man, this is such a cool saber. It's the Legacy saber, so it works just the same as the other ones. This is the same blade, red blade that we just had in Kylo.
And it's got a great sound.
Really cool sound.
Kind of a less aggressive version of the Kylo saber sound.
Yeah.
And then kind of the vacuum turn off.
So cool little bonus there. I really like that saber. So if you are in the area, if you are in Galaxy's Edge and you happen to see one of these, I highly encourage you to pick it up. It's a great saber that not a lot of people know about.
Cool, well I think that's a wrap for this lightsaber review, Rob.
Yep.
Do us a favor, give us a follow on Instagram or Twitter @TheRebelRave. And like the video, subscribe, comment if you've got anything to say.
And we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hey, if you picked up one of these sabers, let us know in the comment section which one you got. Which one is your favorite? It doesn't have to be the one we liked. Tell us which one's your favorite and why, or maybe tell us which one you are looking forward to purchasing. If we can answer any questions in the comments below, we will.
Or let us know in the comments what other lightsabers you'd like us to review. I'm a longtime lightsaber fan. Rob obviously has his addiction well underway, so we're glad to pick one up and show you guys the features.
That's right, so thank you guys for checking out the video, and we'll see you in the next one.
May the Force be with you.